Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another watch list. Basically, think of this as a monthly TV guide for me to let you know what and when TV shows that I'm interested in that maybe you're interested in too are coming out. Like always, in the description down below, I'll include any links to any trailers that may be available about anything that I talk about in this watch list. On December 2nd on Sci-Fi, we have the premiere of Nightflyers. Now, I know George R.R. Martin is a executive producer on it, but I think he's also the creator of this too. Obviously, George R.R. Martin being the creator of Game of Thrones. Essentially, it seems like a sci-fi horror series. What it is exactly, I'm not 100% sure. Just like the previews I've seen of it on TV, they were describing it as Psycho in space. And so, beyond that, I don't really know. Like, whether it's like, there's a monster there, whether it's like a human element of like, oh, someone's going crazy because something's got inside their head. Like, I'd assume since they used the Psycho angle, it's that, but maybe it could be something else entirely. I don't know. Like, this is just based on the bits I've seen on TV. I haven't actually sat down and watched like a full-blown trailer, so maybe there's more stuff in the trailers kind of explaining what's going on exactly. But it seems very interesting, so I decided to add it to the list. So what I have next coming up on the list is a little bit different than what I typically have when it comes to watch lists, but you know, it's something I'm very interested in, so I figured I might as well kind of talk about it a little bit, and that is the Elseworlds crossover that's happening now. If you're unfamiliar with what it is, basically the CW Arrowverse, that's all the like superhero shows. Basically, you know, each year, for this being the third year, they've had a crossover event. It seems like an alternate reality type of situation. Beyond that, like, I've seen images and stuff like that, but I've avoided like reading too much into it just because I want to be surprised when everything comes up. So essentially, this one's only going to involve 3 shows. That's Flash, Arrow, and Supergirl. The crossover is divided up into those 3 separate shows where you have, like, on December 9th, you have the Flash being part 1. On December 10th, you have Arrow being part 2. And then on December 11th, you have Supergirl being part 3. And as you can tell with the dates, Supergirl and Flash have switched days. Do note that that is only for the crossover. After the crossover, they will go back to their respective days. Next up on the list, on December 14th on Netflix, we have season 3 of Travelers, which I'm super excited about. If you've never seen Travelers, you should. This is kind of a great time too, with the new season coming out. Watch season 1 and season 2. It's a very good time travel show if you're unfamiliar with what it is. And I'm very excited to see what they do with season 3, especially with what happened in season 2. Without going too much into spoilers, I guess you could say our main antagonist has been fully revealed in a certain degree. So I'm very interested about that, but also the way season 2 completely ends. So like, it's kind of like, whoa, where do we go from there? Because a lot of reveals happened in the season 2 finale. So I'm excited to see what season 3 has in store for us. On December 20th on NBC, we have the Timeless finale. Now, this is an interesting thing that I literally only just found out about yesterday. So if you're unfamiliar, Timeless is a time travel show that was on NBC. It got canceled after its first season, came back for a second season, and then got canceled again. Well, it seems that basically they're giving it a 2-hour finale, which is kind of interesting. So it kind of puts it in the same realm of like the whole situation with Sense8. So that's interesting to me. Which I'm excited about, because I'm like, I mean, to be fair, I prefer a 3rd season, but at the very least, if you're going to give it a proper ending, then I'm all happy about that. I'm very interested to see what they do with this too, because like season 2 ended with a wait, what? Like, I don't want to give away too much in case you haven't seen Timeless, but it's like multiple big things went down in the finale. I really feel like a 3rd season would be needed, but I guess, like, you know, it is a time travel show, so I guess like you could easily wrap everything up. I guess in a state where the story is, I guess I could see you easily wrapping the whole thing up, I guess. But still, it's just a whole thing. I'm very excited to see how this ends, because I do want it to have a proper end. I was bummed that it got canceled yet again, so. And finally, on December 21st on Hulu, we have season 2 of Marvel's Runaways, which I'm very excited about. If you don't know anything about the show, essentially it's these 6 kids who find out their parents are up to some shady stuff. Essentially, their parents are villains, but I'm very interested to kind of dive into that this season, kind of like, you know, the bond between like the kids, because they were kind of split apart. Obviously, circumstances I will go into, because if you haven't seen season 1, I won't talk about it. But essentially, they finally found their way back to each other, and I'm curious to see that bond continue to grow, especially as dynamics amongst them have changed over the course of season 1, and also what this means for their parents, because their parents' reasons for doing the villainous things that they've done, like, we've dived into it a little bit, but even their stuff that's on the surface that even they're not aware of about this whole situation. So I'm very interested to see what season 2 has in store for us. The only thing I've seen was a teaser, so there's not even a, well, I don't know, there might be one out by the time this goes out. I'd have to look. So I haven't even seen like a full-blown trailer of this season yet, but I'm very excited to see what they do with season 2. Now, before I wrap this up, I'm gonna add a little bit of a side note. You may or may not know this, but typically I try to have these watch lists, you know, up by the end of the previous month or at the beginning of the next month. And so the reason why I'm talking about this is because the TV show Happy on Sci-Fi, what was dropped by Sci-Fi was saying that they would try and have it out by the end of the year, like season 1, but I'm not sure whether that's going to really happen or not, so that's why I'm kind of adding this here. It might get dropped later in December, and like I said, how I, you know, typically handle these watch lists, so I'm just kind of putting that out there to say, like, oh, you might want to look out for Happy, because it might come out this month, but the last time I checked, everything was saying Sci-Fi hadn't given an official date yet, at least from what I've read, so I might have missed something, so just adding that in there to keep that in mind if you're a fan of the show Happy, which if you've never seen the show Happy, just go ahead and watch it. It's only like 8 episodes, if I remember correctly. So, and that brings this month's watch list to an end. Like always, if there's something that you're aware of that's coming out that you think maybe me or someone else might be interested in, don't be afraid to leave it in the comments down below. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and good